Hello and welcome back to Form of Therapy. I am the video channel producer, you can call me PD, and today we are checking out EXO's long-awaited comeback, Tempo. But before we get into this music video, go ahead and check me out on Patreon. It's a great way to support me and this channel. My reaction and short film endeavors are supported through Patreon. You get early access to reaction videos just like this, all starting at $2 a month or more. It's up to you. Now, let's get into this music video. This is your Form of Therapy. Oh, okay. Just getting started right away. Oh, I like that. That boom, 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 boom. Hey, even the visuals. You see the light coming across their face? This is like a lot of 90s inspired visuals. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is like how the 90s depicted what the future would look like. Oh. Oh my god, Seun has actual lines? That's amazing. Wow, this is such a haunting visual. You have him leaning up against the white area, and then you have the shadows of all these other people. These transitions in betweens with like the vocal filter right before the actual rap verse, that's really, really unusual. Hold on. Holy shit, even Chanyeol actually got really good line distribution as well. This is awesome. Oh, the Schumann's hair. I feel like every EXO video there was that Lay? I feel like every EXO video there was one person with a tragic hairstyle. Holy shit, oh my god, this is really cool. Oh, I love how they shot this. It looks like there's a circular array of lights. Okay, that was definitely Lay. I can't believe Lay is... He's cameoing in his own music video. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh my god, that's so cool. Oh, this reminds me of like a lot of 90s R&B stuff. If you notice the lighting in that scene where Baekhyun is singing and you actually get a close-up when it's red, it's sort of like, the way it's blinking, it kind of looks like siren lights. I mean, a lot of the lighting in this music video is pretty wild. A lot of flashing lights. It's Lay. It's Lay, isn't it? Oh, well, it's already over. Alright, so I gotta admit, that is the first EXO title track that I like off the bat since Monster. And that's a long time ago. Truth be told, when it comes to EXO title tracks, I haven't been quite a fan. Coco Bop, I like it now, but I only like Coco Bop after having heard it remixed with other songs. mashed up with other songs. Power, I still don't like it. Universe, was that even a title track? That was just like a winter special. Either way, I liked Universe. It's been a while for me since I've genuinely liked an EXO song, title track anyways. Previously, a few months ago, we did a diving deeper into EXO where I checked out some of EXO's B-sides, something I'd never done before. And those were phenomenal, those were great. And so I wonder if that actually has changed and influenced my view on EXO, because I never liked Red Velvet, and then I did that diving deeper into Red Velvet, and then once I listened to Red Velvet's B-sides, I suddenly liked the group a lot, and now they might be my second favorite group of all time. You know, that it's kind of weird how that works, like how appreciating someone's musical stylings and understanding what they're trying to go for kind of helps you appreciate some of the songs that you may not have liked in the first place. Like I said, I didn't like Coco Pop in the first place, but I like it now. I really did not like Red Velvet's Rookie. I hated it, in fact. Now, I love that song, you know? So it's interesting how perspectives change. And going in, I really, really, really like this EXO song. And so I don't know if it's because I have a different perspective going in, but I definitely think that this was a lot catchier than some of their usual stuff. I definitely think that this was a lot smoother and a lot sexier and a lot slicker than something like Power. So I definitely like this. I like EXO's more intense stuff, like El Dorado, Monster, or some of just like the highlights. I really like when EXO kind of shows off. What I'm starting to like about EXO, and definitely the feeling I got here, is that from a performance aspect, they're extraordinary. They are clean cut, they are technical, they have slick movements. I read somewhere that while some, people under SM do produce their own music, in general, SM doesn't allow their artists to produce their own music, especially title tracks, and has them focus more on the performance aspect. And they believe that they hire the best producers in the world, and so that the artists should just focus on the performance and singing aspect. And before someone argues, oh no, blah, 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 I'm not insulting anyone. I'm not saying no one's a producer. I'm just saying I think somewhere like only 5% of SM's discography are self-produced in-house by the artist. So, I think every label has their own specialty, JYP, YG, and SM, and I think SM really, really, really excels in the performance aspect. And I think this was one of the coolest performances I've seen from EXO. Mind you, I've only seen title track performances, so, I could be missing out on a whole lot of stuff. But before this, Monster was my favorite choreography, but this one honestly might take the cake. This one's really intense, this one's really powerful as well, but maybe it's the presentation of the music video that I really enjoyed it. When it comes to judging and critiquing an SM music video, there's always a baseline foundation, which is that SM traditionally, most of their music videos have the SM box effect, which is a stereotype driven in the K-pop community that SM basically just shoots in like a giant blank space, and then they decorate within that blank space, like a giant white room or a giant black room. And it's true, SM does do that. SM tends to lean towards more building their sets than they are towards shooting outdoors or even shooting within warehouses. And honestly, it's a consistent style that SM has sort of curated to this point. This one is definitely an SM box music video. I think Power was a full green screen music video. Coco Pop was, I believe that was outdoors. So it's been a while since we've done the whole SM box thing for EXO, but this one looks pretty damn well made. I think it's a little bit on the simplistic side. I actually expected a little bit more out of EXO within the SM box. I thought SM would go crazier because there are only a few setups here and some of them are rather simple. In fact, a lot of this music video has very few location changes and it's a lot more controlled through lighting, which I think is way cooler, honestly. One of my favorite scenes has to be when one of the members, I'm already forgetting, it might have been Baekhyun, it was someone, but it transitioned into Chanyeol as well. They're inside like that white box with these shadowy figures. That could have been something like straight out of a horror movie. Like that honestly looked really, really cool. Visually, it's very haunting. I liked that. And then there was the typical, I feel like, LED light setup box. That was one of the main core scenes. I don't dislike it, but I'm not impressed by it in any particular way. It's just like, typical lighting LED setup, right? But what I did like was actually when during the second half of the song, they actually mess with the lighting a lot, and it's like flickering a lot, and it's they're flickering a red light, I think. And so, you know, the whole concept is based around it's called tempo. They have the motorcycle concept, and so I think that red aesthetic kind of gives it that more intense, gritty vibe that leans into that vehicular setup. And then one thing I noticed too was some of the dramatic lighting they actually utilized. I really liked the lighting they had where the light went up like this, you know, the scanning effect. I haven't seen that in a long time. That's very much like a late 90s, early 2000s effect. If you don't know, actually, it was very popular during that early era where, even though it's not like this, people would simulate someone being on a computer or whatever by projecting the light onto someone's face. I think the most famous example might be like The Matrix. You know, when Neo's on the keyboard in The Matrix, you can see like when he's on the website and he's scrolling through, like the numbers are like reflecting on his face in like a green light, and it's like scrolling up. Obviously, when we use the computer, it doesn't reflect like that, but it's something that's become a little bit commonplace in the filmmaking community. So it's actually really cool to see like a version of that here where it's like a light scanning them. So that was pretty cool. Another setup that I really liked was one of the dance performance scenes. I think it's right in the middle of the music video when I think it's Kai taking the lead. He's got a hat on, so it obscured his face. But there's like a circle ring of lights around them, and it's probably digitally programmed where the lights would be turning on and off, like going around or like all flashing at the same time. The way that worked, that was so cool. It created such like a dynamic, like visually jarring strobe effect. So that was a great way to switch up the music video, especially in the same dance scene too. They didn't even change locations. Like I said, this music video isn't too big on like changing locations. They just varied it up with lighting, which honestly probably helps with the cost effectiveness. One aspect I was not a fan of was Xiumin's hair. Xiumin, his hair was, I don't know, kind of reminds me of like a Japanese hairstyle. I think he had like that kind of like that crazy fried hair thing going on. I've seen that in person actually very recently. It was a bunch of Japanese dudes, and one of the dudes had that hairstyle, and he kind of looks like that. But, you know, I feel like every EXO comeback, there's just some hairstyle that kind of just like catches me off guard. But overall, I thought this was a very cool music video. I was actually curious as to how they would incorporate a motorcycle concept. I saw photos on Twitter that it was going to be a motorcycle concept. I assumed then that this would be, you know, an outdoor shoot, shooting on a track, but not at all. This is actually more like an old school EXO video. I think like, whoa, what was the one? Overdose? Was that the one that was like indoors and like crazy lighting? Yeah, it kind of like reminds me of like old school EXO videos. So like, that was kind of dope. That was kind of dope. I'm aware that the Chinese version will feature Lay. I will not be reacting to it. I might react to it and only put it on Patreon. But for, you know, just for like legal purposes, I'm not going to do it. Just because with Japan, their copyright laws are extremely strict. And I don't know how Chinese copyright laws work anyways. And to be honest, I don't really want to find out. And I know China has a pretty anti-internet policy in that regard. So I'd rather not risk it. So before anyone requests it, no, I will not be reacting to the Chinese version of Tempo.
Don't mess up my tempo, don't mess up my tempo, don't mess up my tempo, don't mess up my whole.
Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my reaction and review of Tempo by EXO. What did you guys think of EXO's long-awaited return? Let me know in the comments below. Also, thank you to our monthly groupies on Patreon. Your guys' support means so much to me. If you would like to support me, why don't you go to patreon.com/formatherapy, and for as little as $2 a month, you'd be help supporting this channel, my filmmaking endeavors, my reaction videos, and me, and you get early access to reaction videos as well. However, if you can't support me monetarily, that's completely fine. Why don't you just go ahead and click like down below right here. Go ahead and click subscribe over here. Tune in for future reaction review videos. And if you're new, why don't you go ahead and binge all my other videos over here.
I can't believe